Mark, I wanted to ask you, you're born and raised in Philadelphia, and from what I understand, you started to be an actor first time when you were 15 years old. And
I was in a play when I was, I think, 15 or 16.
yeah, what made you, it's something you always wanted to do? It was something that you were passionate?
I don't know. My mother was sort of a painter. My father was an aircraft worker in factories, but he was very big on um, building things and making things, and they were both kind of a little bit on the artsy side. There was always classical music playing. My brother became a composer and a teacher of music. So I used to do a lot of writing. I wanted to be a writer from the time I was about 12 or 13.
What kind of writing is it?
Just imaginary things. I had a couple short stories I tried to sell to magazines. I once got a nice rejection. Well, it was a very nice rejection.
What is a nice rejection? I never got a nice rejection.
One where they say that they think this work has some merit. It doesn't fit with what they're doing, but they think that there's a degree of writing talent in the piece.
Okay.
Or they're just bullshitting. I really don't know. They send that to everybody. I had a friend, we used to sit around when I was 14 talking about becoming disc jockeys because we used to listen to rock and roll all the time. And one day he said, why don't we become actors? And that struck me. I thought, wow, that's a neat idea. And I told my father that that's what I wanted to do. And he paid for me to go down to downtown Philadelphia, which is the center of the city, once a week to a school called the Bessie V. Hicks School of Dramatic Arts. And I used to go once a week. I thought it was very nice. He was very supportive in things like that.
Then you moved to New York to study here in drama school.
I went to Temple University for a year. For a while, I was thinking maybe I'll become a doctor, a psychiatrist, or something.
As a good Jew, yeah.
Not as a Jew, it had nothing to do with being a Jew.
Yeah.
As a good Jew, I would have become a rabbi, I guess.
That's true. But when you arrived to New York, now everybody wants to be an actor. How was it?
I say that all the time. When I came to New York, no one wanted to be an actor except the people that wanted to be actors. Now it's everybody. I can do that. I can do that. It's because they see these people that just play themselves all the time. So they can play themselves,
Yeah.
I can get a butcher to play a butcher. I can get a grocer to play a grocer. But I don't know that they can play also the King of France or somebody totally different. I don't know. Stella Adler used to say of people like that who could just do that thing, one thing. She would say, darling, you're not an actor, you're a type.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people like, there's a whole bunch of, not the really good ones, because the good ones can do a lot of things, but there are guys who play like minor mafia figures.
Yeah.
And that's all they can do because they're very much, New York born, tough Italian type. Some of them aren't even Italian, but that's what they do.
Yeah, I understand. And you mentioned Stella Adler. She was your teacher, and then you moved to her.
She was she had a great influence on me. I mean, when I first met her, I thought if God is a woman, this is him. Much larger than life. She taught you more than what it was to be an actor. She taught you what it was to be an artist in the world. So.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. But you told me once that after you finished the studying with her, it was hard for you to get the work, and then you start to work with study with Lee Strasberg, that was maybe her big nemesis, how you call it in English.
She wasn't crazy about him. They knew each other from the group theater. She did not like him.
Yeah, but something in his method helped you.
But actually, I came out of Stella's. When I came, I was with her for 3 years. I got into a Broadway play within months of coming out of Stella's. I had a very big part in a Broadway play with some big stars.
What is the name?
It was called Infidel Caesar. It was Julius Caesar set in Castro's Cuba. It all took place in Havana. It didn't hold up long. It lasted about 4 weeks. It was a little bit ahead of its time.
And how is it for you suddenly to be in Broadway?
I think it was the best thing that ever happened.
What?
It was wonderful, and I was being paid a salary.
Yeah.
I used to go to lunch with a famous movie actor who was in the play named John Ireland from the 1940s and 50s. And he was having trouble dealing with Shakespeare because he had always done regular contemporary things. And he used to ask me to meet him once in a while in the morning to help him with the material. Not that I knew so much, I don't know.
Yeah. Now you are basically working since the second you finished studying, but still it was a long journey until you established yourself as an actor, right?
Too long a journey. I mean, I didn't really start to make see, I came to New York, but I didn't really start to make a living as an actor until I was about 38 years old. I mean, I had a few little things here and there, but then, I mean, I spent probably 17 years on and off waiting tables.
Yeah.
And doing other things, construction work. I worked in art galleries for a while.
Yeah.
60s.
Did you had moments those years that you said, I'm giving up, I don't want to do it anymore? Or
I started my own theater company. The art galleries I was in were very high end. They had all the great painters of the world, all the great abstract expressionists, pop painters. We had one of them there was the first gallery in Soho when there was nothing in Soho but warehouses.
yeah.
There were people that used to do what were called happenings. They would create these things in a room with structures. I started creating things with plastic structures. And out of that, I created plays, very much movement. My wife was the main actress in it. And we created a theater group called the Blue Dome. There's a book about 1970s theater in New York off Broadway. You can get the book, I forget what it's called, off Broadway in the 70s, I think. It mentions Blue Dome for a couple pages. We got a couple good reviews and used them to send to colleges all around the country. We ended up touring colleges for a couple years.
Wow, that sounds good.
It was very, very, very avant-garde, almost nonverbal. It was very dance-like. And tape recorders used to talk. But these big plastic structures, I would build all day long. And some of them moved. They were transparent. They had colors. And one color passing another would change what you were seeing. If, for instance, if yellow passed blue, it turned green.